welcome to The Diplomat. I'm your host, 강선우. This year marks the 17th anniversary since the foundation of the South Korea government. In the very same year, in 1948, Israel became an independent state in the Middle East. Also, both nations share a history and culture of more than 5,000 years with rich human resources and great passion for learning and education. Today on The Diplomat, we are going to meet Israeli Ambassador to Korea, Chaim Choshen, to delve deeper into what two countries share in common and also talk about our future relations. Hello, Ambassador Chaim Choshen.
Hello.
It's a great pleasure to have you on our show.
It's a great pleasure to be here.
I actually heard that you volunteered to be posted in South Korea.
I don't know if volunteering is the right wording, but let me say it like that I wanted very much to come and serve in Korea. As you know, I'm an old Asia hand. I've been dealing with this region for many, many years, I think more than 30 years. I studied in Japan, I served in Japan, so I follow events in Korea for many, many years. And when this position was vacant, I thought it will be really a fascinating thing and very challenging for me to come and serve here. Due to the fact that I lived so many years in Japan, and I think these two countries are, in a way, have a lot of similarities with each other. So I can use my experience, and I thought that I will feel here very much at home, and so it happened.
And I also heard that you really enjoy Korean temple cuisine, and also you take Korean language lesson on a regular basis. What about Korean cuisine do you enjoy, and why do you learn the language?
I just found it's really very tasty, especially the temple cuisine, and whenever I'm offered to be invited to restaurants, so I say, why not choosing a vegetarian temple cuisine? And I found out it's really natural, very fresh, very healthy. I like dishes like japchae, like tofu, kimchi, different Korean pickles, different soups like doenjamshige. And I will tell you that a couple of months ago I visited the city of Busan, and we made one day a temple stay in Naos, and they had their wonderful breakfast, which I enjoyed so much. And you asked about the language. Well, I believe that it's really deficiency to live in a place and not knowing the language. It's very difficult. And in addition, I believe that when you study the language of people, you open a window to the soul and culture, and you understand much deeper the spirit of these people.
What is it about Korea and Korean culture that interests you most?
I think this is a fascinating country. Let me begin with saying that I'm fascinated by the culture of East Asia in general. I mean, Buddhism, Confucianism, manners, politeness, respect. This is really fascinating. You know, in Israel, when I was a child, we thought always that the most polite people in the world are Europeans. But when I came to Asia, I realized something else. And I think also that the mixture here between Buddhism, Christianity, atheism, it's a very interesting thing. I wonder sometimes how Christianity succeeded so well in this country. In only 70 years it had such a tremendous success. But I'm really fascinated by many things in this country, by the beauty of the country, by the warmth of the people, it's really a great country.
I see. I understand that you started your tenure 2 years ago. What has been the most memorable moment during that 2 years?
I think you know. And every Korean maybe know. I think really this was maybe the meeting between your president Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un. I felt there is some atmosphere of excitement here and happiness, and this was a lot of anticipation for the summit, and after the summit, great hopes for a better future, for stability, for removal of the threat from North Korea, for more economic prosperity. So whoever lives here really, I believe, would say the same thing.
What kind of images do Israeli people have of South Korea?
Well, let me tell you that especially in recent months, all the focus has been to South Korea. Because naturally for the development that we are witnessing here every day. I think Israelis have a very good image of South Korea. You know, nowadays almost every Israeli uses cellular phone of LG or Samsung. He's watching TV on the screen of Samsung or LG or other Korean companies. He's driving a Hyundai or a Kia car, which are the most popular and sold cars in Israel. Third of the Israeli market is Korean cars nowadays. Washing machines, refrigerators were brought mostly in the past from Europe. So everybody knows about the prosperity and the economic greatness of Korea and the wonderful quality of the Korean products. And also, of course, the Hallyu and K-pop. How can we ignore something like that?
I was just
you have a lot of fans in Israel.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that question to you. Hallyu, Korean culture wave, is literally taking the world by storm. So what is it like in Israel, like K-pop or K-dramas? Do Israelis enjoy a lot?
Well, I'm not sure that this wave is so big like other countries, but we have definitely, it's very difficult for me to estimate how many, but I suppose a few thousands who are following Korean dramas and admire Korean, very handsome Korean actors and very beautiful Korean actresses. And there are also competitions in Israel, and we see also here, sometimes I meet here, especially women, I must say, who are crazy about it. And this was the motivation really for them to come and visit Korea.
Do you have any favorite K-pop star or Korean movie star?
I would say it's maybe Song Joong-go. Son Joong-gi. Son Joong-gi. Yeah.
He just got married to another Korean actress.
I know. It's okay. I suppose many women are disappointed.
It's okay for me too.
It's okay.
I believe culture unites people regardless of their different language, nationality, or borders, and so on. And recently, Israel and Korea united in the name of the culture with the exhibition from the Israel Museum. So shall we take a look at the moments from the Chagall Exhibition?
One of the artists most beloved by Koreans, Marc Chagall, and his monumental contribution to the world of art are being honored in Korea through the exhibition Chagall, Love and Life. On opening day, the Israeli ambassador to Korea, Chaim Choshen, came to the exhibition venue to personally greet the audience and deliver a speech.
There is a lot of interest in Korea in Jewish culture and history, maybe like no other country in Asia. And Chagall is considered to be maybe the greatest Jewish painter in all times.
The exhibition displays around 150 pieces from the Israel Museum's Chagall collection, donated by the artist and his daughter. Korea, in fact, was the first country in Asia to present the Israel Museum's Chagall collection. Why did they choose Korea as the first destination?
The motivation of this exhibition is to bring our national heritage to you, to the Korean public. We would really like to make this kind of culture communication, to be able to show you what is important to us in terms of art and also in terms of culture and religious. And we know that there is much appreciation of Chagall in Korea, so I think that this is the right place to begin our traveling exhibitions of Chagall in the East.
Also known as the magician of color, Chagall is admired for his bold and colorful brushstrokes and his dreamlike, surrealist imagery. The exhibition shows the artist's turbulent life in 7 different sections. They highlight his memories of World War I and World War II, the persecution of the Jews in his time, as well as the artist's great love for his wife Bella and grief over her early death in 1944.
연인, 사랑 이런 거를 많이 쓰기도 하고 이제 색채 이런 거 강렬한 내용을 많이 다루는 걸로 알고 있었는데 조사를 하다 보니까 유대인이라든지 이런 거를 좀 많이 알았어요. 제가 원래 기독교를 있어가지고 이런 내용을 몰랐으면 조금 더 이제 다른 사람들 같은 경우는 어려울 수 있겠구나 이런 것도 좀 알았고 깊이가 있는 작품들이 많구나 좀 새롭게 좀 깨달았던 것 같아서 좀 좋았던 것 같습니다.
The exhibition is also a testament to Chagall's ultimate impact on the art world through his recognition of love as life's most powerful force, as shown in the Lover series. Sharing the same Jewish roots, Ambassador Choshen is doing his part to encourage more people to treasure Chagall's life and artistry.
As I said, Chagall is maybe the most famous Jewish painter ever. And Jewish themes and subjects from the Bibles are very much interwoven in his paintings and creation. And I hope that through this exhibition, the Korean public will be introduced to Jewish life, culture, in the Jewish shtetl, what we call in Eastern and Central Europe, maybe 100 years ago or 70 years ago, and in general, to Jewish history.
Let's learn more about the artist's message with Ambassador Choshen.
And can you tell a little bit more about that to us?
Actually, I think this is the biggest exhibition introduced to the Korean public ever, and the biggest one from the Museum of Israel. And let me also say that I hope that many others will follow. Although Chagall didn't make Israel his home, he loved Israel very much, and his Jewish brothers who lived there, and he was in very excellent relations with the mayor of Jerusalem, and this motivated them really to donate the pictures. You know, he was a painter who was born in the outskirts of Vitebsk, a small Jewish town in Eastern Europe, in Belarus. This was a very typical place for Jews to live for centuries, and his paintings are expressing or are telling about the Jewish life, tradition, culture in those small cities which are called Städte. He also painted a lot of themes from the Bible. And maybe this is also the place to mention that he fled from the Nazi persecution during Second World War to the south of France and then to America, and quite often his thoughts were consumed by the fate which befell his Jewish brethren who were persecuted by the Nazis. And there is an expression, and there are two great projects he did. One is the Chagall windows in the Hadassah hospital in Jerusalem, which are symbol of the 12 tribes of Israel, and also in the walls of the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, very, very nice tapestries that he created are hanged there, and two very, very beautiful replicas of these two projects are also exhibited in the Hangara Museum in the Seoul Art Center. So I recommend Koreans to come visit this exhibition, and maybe they will follow and see the real thing in Israel.
So what other events is the embassy organizing or planning to organize to further introduce Israeli culture to the Korean public?
Where I believe that culture or introducing Israeli culture is one of the most important things that we should do in Korea, and this is really a very, very important pillar in the activity of the embassy. We did a lot of things in the past, and let me mention a few things that we're intending to do, to participate, for example, in the very, very famous jazz festival of Jarasom. We used to bring a few Israeli bands to this festival. We are going to participate in the International Music Festival in Busan, Dance Festival in Busan, Film Festival, also in the Film Festival here in Seoul, and many, many such cultural activities.
Talking about Israel and Jews, we cannot forget about the word chutzpah. Am I saying it right?
You're saying it very well.
Chutzpah. What is this word all about, and why is it so important in Israel?
I think that chutzpah means to think out of the box, to to be free with your imagination, to implement ideas that come to you, and actually also to challenge superiors, hierarchy, if you believe that your ideas are right and you want to implement them. And this is very important because I believe that this mentality of chutzpah contributed a lot to our startup ecosystem. This is an ecosystem which really needs thinking out of the box and a lot of innovation and creativity. And everything is maybe included or emanates from this mentality of chutzpah.
I see. I learned and we know some differences between the two countries. And what about the things that we share in common?
We are two of the most ancient peoples on earth. Your history is one of the most ancient in this region. It goes back more than 5,000 years ago, and this is the same applies to us.
Right.
We already talked about education, which is high valued in the two cultures. I think that both of our countries lack natural resources, and in spite of that fact, we succeeded to build two very, very prosperous and successful economies. Nowadays, you are the 11th economy in the world, and this is in a very short time.
Right.
We're very poor countries maybe 70 years ago, and what we have today we built from scratch. Also, I believe that we are facing similar threats. We are, in a way, in a very similar strategic situation. Both of us are small peoples. Also, you are much bigger than us. We are only 8 million. We are 22,000 square kilometers. You are almost 100,000 square kilometers, 50 million or 52 million people. There is a difference. But relatively to the other world and the geopolitical situation, there are a lot of similarities. And I think this is the reason also why so many Koreans have high estimate toward the state of Israel and appreciate Israel.
Right. As you just mentioned, since both countries rely heavily on manpower, I understand that you've been trying the utmost to expanding the exchange of manpowers between two countries. Could you tell us more about that story, please?
Yes, I think that people-to-people diplomacy is the most important diplomacy. It's more important than official diplomacy. And my work is targeting mainly the young Koreans who are the next generation of this country, very talented and intelligent people. And one of the main subjects or main fields that we concentrated on, continuing to concentrate, is trying to strengthen and to create new cooperations between high learning institutions, universities in Israel and in Korea. I would like to see more faculty exchange, more students exchange, more R&D exchange, and it's very important for me to see Koreans, and much more Koreans visiting Israel. Nowadays we have 40,000. Most of them are pilgrims. I would like also people from the other segments of the public to come and visit Israel, because I believe that once those people visited Israel and see Israel with their own eyes, they will be messengers of a desire to strengthen, enhance the relations between the two countries.
Right. The first industrial revolution is reshaping the way we live. With the vast human resources we have, not to mention creativity and technological prowess, there are many areas in which the two countries can cooperate. What could be some examples?
You're very right. I think we are not competing economies, we are complementary economies. And I believe that both of our countries, you with your huge industries, with your huge distribution power, with this is a technological and industrial superpower, Korea. At Israel, we are not such a big industrial power, but we are a big laboratory of ideas and innovation. And I believe that if both of our countries join forces, it will be a wonderful venture. I would like to see more Korean companies coming and investing in Israel. Also in infrastructure, because we have a lot of infrastructure projects nowadays. We discovered huge gas fields and we don't have the know-how how to develop them. Koreans do. But also to invest in the startup industries, to identify good startups which will benefit also to Korean companies. And we have also startups like that, like R&D center of LG, R&D center of Samsung in Israel. Also Hyundai declared recently that they are very much interested to widen their activity in Israel, since we are a great power in the autonomous car driving. It is a very important industry for the future. So I believe that we have a lot of things to do together.
Right, right. How do you want to be remembered after your term as Israeli ambassador to Korea?
Well, I would love to accompany your president to a visit in Israel, because a Korean president never visited Israel. So if this will happen, I will be very happy.
I see. Thank you very much for joining us today, Ambassador.
Well, it was my pleasure, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to convey my messages to the Korean public and other publics. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I think that my job here in Korea is to represent my country the best way I can and to strengthen the relations between our two countries. I would like to converse with every layer of the society here, with young people, with the older generations, with everyone, to travel across the country, to make good relations with as much people as I can in order to introduce them to Israel.